My name is Twig, and you're watching an Orange Vinyl TV interview. Alright, so we're sitting here with the Instamatics. They just got off stage. They had a really good gig. On the right here we've got Matt on guitar, Joshua on bass, and in the middle is Nick, their frontman. So, first off guys, the name. Where did that come from?
I think all bands go through a process and they pull out 50 names and they write it on a piece of paper and they sort of go, oh, yeah, that's good, and then you know, a day later you think, oh, it's a terrible name. But no, and we Instamatics and we thought it was good.
Some of mine were rejected.
Yeah.
I wanted Mantronic. These guys said no way.
How would you categorize your sound and what are your biggest influences?
I think it's like I love early Prodigy. I think it's a little bit of that. I think it's a little bit of Muse coming in there as well, early Muse. It's sort of big bass. I don't know, it's hard to describe. I think we like to actually sound completely different than anyone else.
Yeah.
You just sound like us.
We don't have, because we have different tastes, the music that we write comes out the way it does. It's not to be a certain genre. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If we wanted to go for a genre, we would, but that's kind of what happens when we probably get the instruments together and start writing shit.
It's a mishmash.
Yeah,
it is that we like.
Yeah, it is.
But and I mean,
but we're open to people to say what we sound like.
Yeah, it's interesting to.
That's good. I like it.
We've had someone say we sound like PIL. You know?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we think that.
How long have you guys known each other, and how did the band form?
well, I knew Matt from school.
Yeah,
Matt was in a year ahead
Yeah.
at school, and we used to go skateboarding and play basketball.
I provided a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And then I met Josh years later at sort of a mutual workplace. We were in different departments, but we sort of got talking, and we were in another band previously, as was Matt and I. We were in a band previously, and then this one Matt and I were writing some songs and with beats, and it took us a little while to convince Josh to.
He didn't want to play on
board.
He was like,
Very weird turning
too
around.
rock.
Metronome! No, but and then Josh came on, and we just all sort of connected really well.
Now I know you've been on hiatus, you said, for was it about 2 years or so?
Probably a bit longer if we're being honest. Take 2 years.
Change the bio. Change my age on the bio.
We're still
So
right.
then, I'm assuming you were gigging a lot before then as well?
Yeah.
A bit.
Like,
Sporadically.
Has it been just Adelaide based, or has it been around the country?
Adelaide based, I think.
In the 5,000 postcode.
Sort of in a global
In that neck
perspective.
And what's been like, I'd say, your most memorable, good or bad?
Oh, it's fun.
It was fun. Tonight was real fun.
We had the weird one at we played at this Adelaide radio station. I don't even
Don't mention the radio station.
It was just strange. It was quite strange.
We played in this one, and it's run by volunteers.
Yeah.
And as we're playing, you couldn't really see the sound box. And as we're playing, we noticed it was not in the sound box. And it turns out they ducked off to run the street to go and get a gyros.
No, falafel.
Falafel?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, falafel. He's vegetarian.
Yeah.
But the cue was they said for us to stop. We'll just say, this is our last song, play it, and then they'll cue the music, and it was just silence.
So we sort of imagined them eating like a gyros, because it was live to air, and they had a radio going, oh, it's stopping, run! Laughing going everywhere.
Night on Tonight is the single. Have you been having much response from it? Much love?
We had some good love.
We did.
Then we stopped.
Yeah, we did, because babies and shift work sort of got in the way a little bit of our mojo.
We had a lot of airplay on radar radio,
Yep.
internet radio, and there was a California internet radio station that had a #1 for weeks.
Yeah,
wow.
this is an internet radio station in America for yonks.
Nick made $10.84 in royalties. He hasn't split it yet.
Apparently you bought a kebab.
40 euros.
Yeah, exactly.
Briefly describe your music making process.
Back in the day, it used to start probably with a riff, and then we, get together and maybe put a beat down and that kind of thing. But sometimes these days we start with a beat and then just start riffing. Don't we?
Yeah. Nick and I originally wrote. I just had guitar riffs and he'd do vocals. And we kind of have a song with no bass or drums, and then we started putting the drums in, and Josh came in and tweaked them a bit. But now it's pretty much now it's whatever, we either come up with a loop of something, like a beat or some synth sounds, or a guitar riff or a bass riff, so now it's pretty freeform, like whoever throws something out there.
Happens pretty quickly.
Biggest challenge up till now.
Technology.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is funny because you guys are primarily based around technology.
Yeah. It
So is
gets
that-
in
is
a
that-
way.
Is that because you're pushing the boundaries of how you use it?
And learning too.
Yeah.
So relatively speaking, we're pushing our boundaries.
Yeah. Which I guess is fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it took, because we started with a MC909 Groove Box, which is a hardware piece, and then we converted it to software, and that took a long time to get the levels right, and sample everything in, remix everything.
Yeah.
That took ages.
So after watching the show on stage, it's a bit of a different vibe. You guys don't have a drummer, which is quite interesting. But what's your ultimate your ultimate goal, your direction of the band? I mean, are you guys doing this just for the love of it? Are you trying to get tours? Are you trying to get overseas? You know, is there an end game, or are you just winging it for now?
I'd say we're winging it. We wanted to try and we did get a minuscule amount of radio play, and I think that's what we thought. We're trying to think bigger picture.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be good to get a song on an ad or something like that to get some royalties rather than playing $10 gigs.
Which is that's a business move.
Yeah, I mean we were thinking that, but we're probably at the moment, after having played the show, I think we're now more just like fun. Maybe if we record something new, we'll try and pimp it out. But
It's exciting just writing a cool track and having lots of people listen to it on the World Wide Web or whatever.
Yeah. I guess that leads me on to my next question quite nicely. You're obviously just doing it for the fun, but do you have any advice for local up-and-coming artists who are just trying to get on the stage? Because it's really, you guys are having a good time, but there's a lot of guys out there who just want to get onto the stage and do what you're doing. Any advice for them?
Practice hard and have fun with it. I think let's take it way too
I agree.
seriously.
I agree.
They think they're going to be millionaires after a few gigs and that doesn't happen. You just got to be measured and have fun with it.
The reality is from interviews that we've heard with artists that we like and that kind of thing, like, it's very hard to make money anyway. So just have fun, isn't it? Just enjoy. Don't look at your shoes. Look at the people in the crowd.
Yeah,
that's what I'd say.
That's a really good practical answer.
It's a soundbite.
So I want to get hold of Instamatics, the music, or the social media. Where do I go?
Well,
The website?
Yeah, the Instamatics.com. And then, that links to the Facebook and the Twitter and stuff, which really, Josh, I've got to be honest, we're not social networkers. We're more like people.
He doesn't have a mobile.
He's a social network and a people person, so Josh does the Facebook and the Twitter and all that kind of jazz.
And he's one of the only 2 guys in Adelaide that have mobile phones.
Yeah.
I know both of them.
So
Luddites.
Yeah. So Josh is all over it. He's got a comics website, and we've got the SoundCloud.
Yep.
Yeah, SoundCloud website. And so Josh is really good at that stuff. I built the .com, and that's sort of my department, and Matt's got a kid.
I'm changing that these days. Yeah.
Is there anyone you would like to thank for the success that you've had so far?
Sure thing. Well, thank you very much, firstly, for interviewing us. But
I did not set that up at all.
I've got to say,
Kendall for putting
Yeah.
Nick's girlfriend for putting up
Actually,
with
she
us.
should get a mention.
Yeah, we practice at my house.
Right.
Blast out.
And the dog, the girlfriend and the dog. So honestly, Kendall's letting us practice is really great. But I mean,
It's just people that allow you to have a gig and, I think that's the most important thing.
And I should say, it's really nice that when we finished that, a couple of people came up to me and shook my hand and said, "Thank, that was really awesome." And that's who I'd like to thank, is just random people that come up and say, "G'day, and thanks." Yeah.
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
People that come get into
Yeah.
even when there's not many people there, people are like, yeah, shit, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I think that's who I like to thank.
So anything else that you want to say? This is where you get to hunt Instamatics.
We're not very good at pimping ourselves. Don't look at your shoes.
Send us money to record our new.
Yeah.
And it's going to be called Don't Look at Your Shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, cool guys. Well, thank you very much.
Don't look at your shoes. That's a good name.
Thanks very much for stopping by. The gig was cool. It was good to catch up with you. And I guess we all wish you the best of luck.
Cheers, Twiggy.
Yeah, man.
Bye!
All the
Thanks,
best.
man.